what I'm doing. So if anybody comes in here, this is just simply a test. A test because I have no idea what's going on right now. I'm just trying to figure this out. The hell? How is it? Okay. Oh, looks like it is working. All right, looks like it is working, kind of. Interesting. Interesting. Shit. Okay. It's weird on YouTube. I'm trying to work with StreamYard here. I'm trying to figure this out. We're live on YouTube through StreamYard. All right. Live viewer comments show up on StreamYard. This is an example. Okay. Oh, not dope. Okay, okay. Oh, that's pretty dope. You can upload a logo instead of the StreamYard logo. That's pretty cool. And you could set an overlay. All right. So I'd have to sign up for StreamYard to get my own overlay. So I don't need an overlay right now. Who cares, right? We'll just turn that off. All right, that's cool. I can't put a background. Okay, I get it. I get it. So it is working on YouTube, which is an odd thing because I wasn't sure I did it the right way and set it up the right way, but it looks like it did work. So that's pretty cool. So that's good. That's good news. That's good news. And maybe we'll do more of this in the future. Try to get some more people. We got excellent condition on the stream. We're sitting here in StreamYard. How do I get, let's see here, invited guests. See how this layout is unique. How do I invite guests? Let's see something. I'm gonna see what's going on, everybody. What is happening? I don't usually go live, so I don't even expect to have any viewers, but we're just gonna chill out and vibe for a little bit. I hope this is working. Again, if you're listening to this on the flip side, it's a little more serious version of me right now because I'm not exactly sure what I'm doing. I'm working on StreamYard. I'm trying this out. Let's see here. Camera, audio. We got the Yeti. Looks good. We got the beats. Sound like they're working good. I do, if you are going to watch this, like I do apologize for the audio problems in my last episode because during my interview with Hotep Jesus, my for some reason the computer switched my audio from the from the microphone, the Yeti microphone to the headphones, and that was not what I was looking for. So I just invited a guest tonight, True God Immortal, who is a buddy of mine, been a friend of mine for many years. Good dude, a solid guy, and I'm happy that he wanted to do this. I'd love to talk to him. We've spoken online for many years, and let's see, screen sharing works best on a good computer. Some screens let you. All right, we could actually screen share this way too. Brave browser likes to record this computers. Okay. Oh, come on, dude. We'll try this another time. We'll try the screen share thing another time because that doesn't seem to be working. I did just hear like a thing in my headset. I wonder if I don't know if anybody is joining me or what. But yeah, my interview with Hotep Jesus went really well. I really enjoyed it. I love the fact that he took the time to sit down with me and discuss some important topics, right? Because right now there's a lot of man, I hate even say it, but it just feels like we have a powder keg just brewing. It just doesn't feel right to me. You know, I hate to say it. I don't like saying it. I don't like talking about it. It's a powder keg, and I have a feeling it's only going to get worse. I kind of just lied right there. Let me step back. I do like talking about it. I think it's important that we all talk about it even more. What's going on in the country? I mostly over my life have been oblivious to what's going on in the political spectrum, like completely oblivious, like not paying any attention, barely any attention. Even when I was watching, previous elections with Barack Obama and, George Bush and stuff, I really honestly barely cared. And that's on me. I should have cared more probably. And even now I kind of barely care because it's more about just understanding all the information and working on finding what the truth is and what isn't the truth because, depending on who you listen to, there's a lot of false narratives out there. There's a lot of bullshit everywhere. So you got to be careful. You got to take in the information from all sides, from every angle, understand that many of the people who you feel might have your best interest in mind really don't. And you just got to kind of work on it, work on your own, self-motivation. But yeah, man, we're just chilling right now. Just chilling, testing out StreamYard. I don't go live on YouTube very often, but I figured why not give it a shot? I want to crank out more content, and I know it's important, definitely important with content cranking out to go live every once in a while. So that's what I'm doing. But yeah, let's see here. If you guys have any questions or anything you want to talk, we can do that. I'm available. I am chilling. I think I'm happy that StreamYard worked though. I usually can't get these gimmicks and these apps to work really well, to be honest with you. I have a tough time getting all this stuff to work. I'm gonna try to see if I can add another. Let's see, I can broadcast to Periscope, Twitch. See if I can broadcast to Twitch. Twitch, I have like multi-factor authentication set up like in 12 different ways. So give me a hot second. Which is good because you don't want your shit to get hacked. No matter what it is, no matter any app, no matter any platform that you communicate through, you do not want to get hacked or anything like that. That's one thing you should always want to avoid. Twitch. Let's authorize Twitch and see what happens because I want to. You got to upgrade stream. All right, I'm back. All right, cool. All right, who else we got? Who else is coming? We need who wants to be on the stream? Let's find out. Trying to get True God on right now. We'll see what happens. But we're chilling. We're vibing tonight. We're having a good time. That's all you can really ask for, right? Turn maybe some background noise on. Probably get kicked off YouTube, but I don't really care, in all honesty. Find some independent. Let's turn on True God. Let's turn on his shit. He won't be mad if I played his music. Dude's even got a This Is, man. He's the best. All right, let's go. Your love is so will always be going. All right, we're just vibing now. We're chilling. We're chilling. We vibing. We're hanging out. We're talking about a lot of good stuff tonight. We're just, relaxing a little bit. Getting stuff done. Trying to get Joe Cronin on my show as well. But that dude is so big. Let me tell you something about Joe Cronin. All right. Joe Cronin is a genius that doesn't know he's a genius, I think. Because he understands work ethic and hustle. Joe Cronin understands work ethic and hustle. That dude works so damn hard, and I respect that. I respect the shit out of that. For sure. I might sign up for this $20 a month deal, but I just want to make sure this works first. And maybe as I build up this channel and get some subscribers, we can get a little more crazy with stuff like that, Oh, just hit my computer. Shouldn't do that. Your love and soul will always be there for me. Damn, True this is some different music from True. I haven't heard him rap like this before. But he pumps out the albums, man. Dude just keeps on freaking pumping out the tracks. He's a good rapper, dude. And I will put a stake in your heart if you mess with my heart. My family gets everything. We going through everything, together through everything. Standing strong in the name. I gave my little boy my name. Maybe he's the one that will spark a change. The love is so. I know he did an album like a couple of years ago that I bought. I actually spent. I think I maybe bought it for $10 or something. I can't remember what I spent, but it was a. It had a lot of wrestling stuff involved with it. This was a long time ago though. This is going back many years. And when I'm there with you, your smile just makes me happy. All right. But yeah, this is. He said he's going to be on in a little bit. He's going to try it. So. There's just a lot of chaos going on in this world, man. I think we should all worry a little bit and just be on guard. Don't worry too much. Don't get yourself too caught up in what's going on because you don't want to let your life pass you by and just be worried about the insanity that's happening that we're having trouble avoiding. That you have to literally wrap yourself in bubble wrap and put yourself in a basement and not watch anything on the media or television or anything. You have to literally just stay away from the world to avoid this. But look, a lot of people do it well. A lot of people avoid it well. I'm getting into it because I want to, because I'm just intrigued by it. There's so much going on in the world. The great cornholio virus has really set things ablaze, man. And we gotta worry about that, at least to a degree, at least to an extent. One thing I got to do for fucking sure, shouldn't curse. I'm trying not to curse. I'm trying to curse as much. One thing I had to do for sure is get an arm for this damn microphone because I'm always smacking the table and it ruins the audio. And I'm trying not to be a absolute derelict with this podcast I'm doing. I'm trying to keep it a little bit real. Trying to do it the professional way. We'll get there.
So go and now take a look into these visionary faces. See blood that was spilled upon the military bases. Try to drink the pain away, I'm feeling very wasted. They say they want the truth, but they would really never face it. Your hopes and your dreams get a simple mutilation. Funny how wars start over miscommunication. Lies in abundance, that's what you feeling your void with. I'm here to break them down, back on my kill and destroy shit. Turn around and end no eye scriptures of Muhammad, but couldn't speak to Allah or paint a picture full of promise. Hello, good morning. You may be seated, at least for the time being, and you may get greeted by some Christians wanting blood for the murder of Jesus, or some atheists who think that praising God is egregious. Believe this, I'm alive and well, check my pulse. My unreleased shit is deadly, nigga, check my votes. I won every single game, nigga, check results. I keep kids in their places, even check adults. I see a long line of
he's got some true skill and talent, man. He can flow. And he can, True God Immortal can flow. You know, that's for sure. There's no doubt about that. He's got it. He's got it. Yeah, I'm looking forward to many more awesome interviews coming up very soon. We're talking to Joe Cronin soon. We're going to have a quick 20, 30-minute interview. We're going to be talking to, of course, True God in a little bit. We're going to be talking to Jamie Deluxe very soon. Jamie Deluxe is a YouTube channel. Check him out. Jamie Deluxe.
He's got the whole world.
Wow. I haven't heard Bray Wyatt say that. What's up, Joe? What's going on, man? Thanks for joining me. I'm just messing around, dude. You got to go live. You got to go through the growing pains of going live a bunch of times and not having barely any viewers to eventually get a bunch of viewers. So I'm going through those growing pains right now. I used to have a podcast where I had a whole bunch of viewers, man, back in the day. Yeah, man. True. Eyes on the Ring. Download True's music, True God's music. You can find him on Spotify, True God. Look him up.
Yes. American Dragon in this bitch, I might gain a submission. You used to have the title, now we just change the position.
Yeah. Vibing, chilling. Winding down after a long, hard day of prospecting. Prospecting. Excuse me. No burpski. Oh, that's big news. Just reading right now on Fightful. That's another guy I like, Sean Ross Sapp. I like Sean. He's a good dude. Nice guy. Positive marijuana test, no longer UFC anti-doping violation. That's crazy. That's awesome, dude. That's awesome. Hell yeah, Joe. Chilling with the kids, man. I don't have any kids. Not yet. We'll see. We'll see how the future plays out. Okay, True God, I think, is here. There he is. Let me work this out, True. I'm listening to your music right now. Give me a hot second. I cannot hear you, so give me a hot second. Let's see if I can get this working. Because I don't know. I don't really know what I'm doing. Oh, add to stream. Oh, there he is.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you now. What's happening, bro?
What's happening, bro? What's good with you, man?
Yo, man, this is bizarre because I've known you for, I think, 6, 7 years, maybe something like that on Twitter, and it's the first time we've actually seen each other face to face. I think, right? I might be wrong.
Yeah, I think because I know WrestleMania weekend I was in like Jersey and New York like 2 years ago, but I didn't get a chance to get a chance to link up with you.
Yeah, that was a shit show, bro. I got mad drunk at Madison Square Garden for Ring of Honor New Japan. I got wasted, dude. I was there by myself, bro. By myself. I dropped like $500 on a ticket last minute, got bombed, got shit faced, wandered around New York City all night long, throwing up in garbage cans, shoving McDonald's down my throat. I had no idea. I'm lucky I didn't get murdered, bro.
Bro, we should have definitely linked because I was by myself at Madison Square Garden too. So I got a last minute ticket. I got a last minute ticket because I was actually supposed to go over to to where Access was. And you know, at the time, Jordan Miles was in NXT as ACH, so I was supposed to go over there and see him and chop it up with him. And I got stuck because I took the wrong train. And I was like, "Fuck it, I'm just coming back. I'm gonna just come back to Madison Square Garden." So I came back to Madison Square Garden and got the ticket to go to Ring of Honor New Japan shit. And that was my first time at MSG, man. So that was a good experience.
Yeah, man,
But
that building is something else, dude. That building is awesome, man. Whenever I go into Madison Square Garden, I've been there a number of times from Jersey and stuff. I've been there a ton of times. But every single time I walk in that place, I get like a feeling that I'm in somewhere that's historical, that a lot of cool shit has happened. And it's weird. It's hard to explain.
Right now, man, like I remember like I walked in, you see like the Knicks stuff and the Knicks banners and shit, and I was like, damn, man, like I always wanted. And we went to New York a couple years ago, and we were trying to get tickets to a Knicks game against the Warriors, and the tickets were like $300, $400, and I was like, man, I'm not paying to see the Knicks get beat by 30, so like, wasn't gonna do that. So that was my first time. I went back this past season to Madison Square Garden to see the Knicks play, because since they're bad, like the tickets are a little bit cheaper. So yeah, so I went this right before COVID hit and all that. I went to check the games out that season right before they shut shit down. But yeah, man, that's a shame though, man. We should have chopped it up while I was out there.
Especially now that there's no live events anymore. You know, like I that day was a complete mess, bro. I linked up with a few people. I met a few people who I knew from. You know, I was actually getting recognized inside MSG. I would like walk to the bathroom and a random dude would be like, "Hey, Jay Leto, what's up?" And I'd be like, "Oh, hey, what's going on? Well, I've seen you on Periscope, bro." And I'm like, "Oh, cool, man." You know, I got recognized a few times. That was kind of bizarre too, but that usually happens when I go to wrestling events. That's, at least one person knows me there.
Yeah, so you put your face out there more than I do. So a lot of people like was messaging me like, "Yo, where you at?" And I'm like, "Oh, I'm here. I'm in the middle of WrestleCon, like walking around like by myself." And I had a couple girls like, "Where are you? Where are you?" And I'm like, "I'm here. I recognize people." And I see them. I'm like, "Oh, that's that person. Okay, whatever." Like I don't put my face out there as much because I don't want to be recognized when I go places like that, like that. Because you know, when I was doing the working in the business and shit, I made some issues and mistakes. So now I can meet people at events and they not know who I am, and then we'll talk, and then I'll be like, "Oh, so just so you know, I'm such and such," and like I heard all this bad stuff about you. Like, yeah, I bet, but now you know me. And you know who I am. You don't know my face. Now you know it. So I had to do that for business sake, because you know my old account, I said a lot of shit on Twitter, and you rub people the wrong way, which I ain't got no problem. Like if people want, you know, like go head up, or you want like want to go a different route with it, I could go that route. But in wrestling, that's not how it goes in wrestling. In wrestling, they know your face, they know who you are. They start to blackball you a little bit, start to talk behind your back a little bit, and so I was just like, bet. So that's how I managed to kind of stay out the issue now, because they don't have a face to put with the name. So that was like.
Do you still do anything with wrestling? I know you're not really too much of a fan anymore. You're definitely a fan still. I'm sure you're a fan still, but like, I don't make it a priority anymore to watch the events live. Really, that's not something that I do anymore. I used to do it every week, no matter what.
Not really. Like, not really. You know, I still have my contacts from when I was, you know, mostly in, you know, most of my contacts in the business, like some of the wrestlers that made it to like NXT, you know, WWE and all that stuff, and AEW. Like I'm still cool with them, but I kind of stay away from it, because I said it before. Like nobody that comes from where I come from probably has any business being in the wrestling business, because it's so much bullshit that goes on, that it's stuff that I would see and I'm like, y'all cool with that? Like I'm not gonna say any names, but it's people who are in WWE right now that like I get phone calls and they're like, "Bro, I can't deal with this and this is going on." I'm like, man, like they disrespecting you. I would smack the shit out of somebody if they doing that to me. And so, you know, in my time in the business, I always speak about this. When I was in North Carolina, I saw a lot of things that I didn't think was possible. So like I would start seeing like we went to Gastonia, I think, North Carolina. We went to a midget wrestling show with like a couple guys that are pretty prominent now. We went to a show and there's like maybe like 50 rednecks and it's me and one of the wrestlers. We're the only two black dudes in the place, and just the reaction that we've got. And after the midget wrestling show, the DJ comes out and it turns into like a little bar. And because we're the only black dudes in there, I think they played what Teach Me How to Dougie and like some little John, like some little John shit. I'm like, bro, like what is this? Like, I guess they were trying to like, make us quote uncomfortable. After that, I was like, man, I can't, like if I was in a business in like New York, Philly and stuff like that, I probably would have enjoyed it more just because the surroundings would have been a little bit better. But in the South, nah, man. Like, so I stepped away and kind of burned all my bridges on purpose, so that nobody, I do get asked sometimes to like come on like wrestling podcasts, and I got asked to come to a couple local shows here before everything shut down, and one it's a really small company in Maryland that's trying to get somebody who had like a creative mind to come do work for them, and they talked to me about it, but it didn't fit for me. So I don't think it's a place for me in wrestling no more, man. I don't think so.
What was your role when you worked in wrestling? What were you doing?
So I was a commentator for like a month, and then I was behind the scenes. And I might have had this conversation with you like way back when, but I was doing some creative work for a company in North Carolina, and then I was also running like a podcast that was the basically sponsor for that company. So I was a vice president of that brand. So that's how I kind of got my in, because I had no friends in wrestling at the time. I didn't have a podcast in wrestling. I just would call up to a podcast and I would say the shit that I say on Twitter. I would just say the same thing on the podcast, and I got a text from somebody, and they're like, "Yo, this person wants to talk to you," and that's how I got into the podcast. And the next thing I know, how would you like to come, be a part of the shows, and how would you like to come, sit down and work with us and talk with us? And I'm like, me? Like, word? Like, I was like, I grew up as a kid, man, in Baltimore. Like, I was, wrestling was my life, outside of basketball, wrestling was my life, man. So, like, to get the opportunity to be a part of it, I was bugging out. I was like, word? Like, y'all want me to come down and then, getting to see how everything worked, helping set up the ring, which I was like, yo, that's a dream come true. And I think that's kind of in the first year or so, that's what got me kind of like, oh, like, yo, I'm here. I remember, talking to my ex, and I'm like, yo, Matt Hardy is here right now. I'm looking at Matt Hardy, and Matt Hardy came to me and knew who I was at the time. So that was like, yo, this is crazy. And then, going to the wrestling conventions and sitting with the Rock and Roll Express or DDP, Jake the Snake Roberts all coming through. Like that was super cool for me. And so being a commentator was not my thing though, because I realized that in North Carolina, their rules for their programming was a little different from the podcast world. So I was like saying stuff, and they were like, we got to edit some of the stuff you saying out. And I'm like, word? And like, we got to edit you saying some stuff. And so if you listen to some, like, they got the episodes on YouTube now, but if you listen to some of the like episodes I was on, I'm muted for a lot of the episodes because I was saying a lot of stuff. So, and then when, the woman came out, like everybody knows that I've said crazy shit for years involved in stuff like that. And so they kind of like, before this, PC culture we in now, they were kind of already on that. Like, you can't say this, you shouldn't say that, shouldn't say this, you shouldn't say that. And I'm thinking, we're a company that got 700, people in this building at best. On the ratings, we look at the ratings of what we're doing on Charlotte television and Winston-Salem and Greensboro, we're not even really registering that much. So why are we watching what we say so much? Like, the business at that time was PG for WWE, and I think they were trying to compete or try to at least follow that guideline. And I'll say this before I move off this topic. I've spoken this a couple times on different podcasts. There was a moment where the champion for the company was not the most over guy. And there's a guy who's currently in the Hurt business right now who was the most over guy in our company. And I remember saying, yo, we got to put the belt on him because everybody's waiting for it. We got an opportunity. Let's do this. And I was told the champion is the John Cena of North Carolina, and we got to keep pushing him. And I was like, well, we're not WWE. Like,
who are the wrestlers? So I know who the Hurt Business guy is, of course.
Yeah.
Why are you not saying his name? Is there a reason why you're not saying his name?
I try not to say anybody's name now.
All right, so I'm gonna say it. So Cedric Alexander is the Hurt Business guy, and the John Cena guy, I'm gonna try to guess. So we're going back, like, I'm gonna say we're going back to 2014, 2013, something like that, right?
Yep, 2014, early 2014.
All right, 2014. So John Cena guy on the Indies in the South area. So I'm thinking somebody who competed in like Ring of Honor, Evolve, maybe. No. Hold on. Okay, keep going. Go ahead.
I'll say it's a guy named Caleb Conley who is.
Oh yeah. I know.
Yeah, he was an Impact. So he like, but at the time they were, and Caleb's cool, man. Like he's cool. But it's just he. I think they tried to do something with him that it wasn't the right role, and I just remember me saying, "Yo, like," and I remember No Way Jose, who's we called him Manny. He's Manny, but back then he was Manny, and we went to CWF. And we sat with him, and I'm like, bro, you need to be a heel, because I'm like, yeah, I guess at the time he knew he got the tryout. So it's like, man, like don't turn into like a joke, because it's not gonna last, and you're gonna end up released. Like you got to be more serious, because he had this character at CWF, where he was like talking crazy to everybody, and like, you know, oh, I hate you. Fuck you. Like he had to, I'm like, yo, he got something. But then you see him go to WWE, and he's coming out with the No Way Jose dancing stuff. And then when Cedric first got to WWE, I was there when he got his this is 2016. And it's funny, I had left the business and came back in 2016 for a brief couple months, just to, you know, see if I wanted to get back in, but on my own terms. And so I was sitting with Cedric, and I was like, yo, whatever you do, don't let them put you in a tag team. And there's 3 people I know who can attest to what I said. And he's like, why? I'm like, because they're going to try to put you in a tag team every single chance they get. And he's like, nah, man, you know, I'm, you know, and we had a conversation. He said, as long as the checks look good, that's all that, you know, that's all that matters. Right. And I'm like, that's how they get you. That's how the companies get you, you know, like that's how the world gets you. You know what I mean? Like that you do stuff you're not comfortable in because the checks look right. And so I knew that, and I was like, man, this business ain't for me, because I can get my own check outside of wrestling. So it wasn't, you know what I mean? Like it wasn't an aching need for me to go back, but that was like the turning point. That's why I don't mention people's names, because that was a turning point. Because
I got you. So let me ask you a question that I don't know if I ever asked you before. I might have, but I don't remember. I'm a bit of a oftentimes a pothead. Sometimes I don't remember shit. But the name True God. Tell me about that.
Yeah.
Where that, because like this is weird, because like I'm starting to do these podcasts, and I had Hotep Jesus the other day, and today I got True God. So
yeah.
So tell me about that, man.
So when I first started doing music, I was called something else, and it was my street name, and my street name I'll never say it, but I'm known more by my street name than I am a True God. So most people, if you say True God, nobody knows who that is in Baltimore, because like it's not a name. But I was called something else, and I was listening to a Nas record, and he said, Nas, True King, you know, however you feel, go ahead, you swing. I was like, True King, that's a dope thing. And me and my boys, we've been calling ourselves gods since we were like 10 years old. And I got the same dudes around me since we were like 9, 10 years old. And it was just because from an elevated mindset as a kid, like we always felt like we had the power to be unstoppable. The same way you would look at what people consider gods, from whether it's Greek, whatever mythology, whatever you want to look at, we felt we had that same power. We feel a lot of people have that same power, but the world kind of breaks you down to where you don't believe in yourself enough, fucks your confidence up. So for me, I was like, I stand on being a god, and I was gonna call myself True King as a rapper, and I was like, nah, that don't fit. Like it don't fit. Like King, like I mean, you could feel that way. I'm like, but we call ourselves gods. And one of my boys, he was like, call yourself True God then. And I remember, you know, my ex, she was like, that fits. That's perfect. And I was like, okay. And I've gone over several different meanings for it over the years, but to give it like a fun story, like whether it's, you know, Africa and Asia, which is 2 of my combined heritages and all that shit, and that was a part of it. So put it together. So I've done that, but the reality of it is we calling ourselves guys since we were like 9, 10, and we still do to this day. So it fit, and
Yeah.
it was catchy. It was catchy. I was like, it was catchy. Everybody
Oh,
called me
it
True
is.
God Immortal though. Everybody used to call me like in wrestling. Nobody ever called me True. They said True God Immortal because that was my Twitter handle at the time. And I wanted to start a group called the Immortals at one point, and it didn't work like that. And this is in wrestling. That was in wrestling. Because the Immortals, that's a hard copyright to kind of get by anyway. And then so it was hard to do, but that was kind of my plan. I was like, man, this would be a dope kind of name to put in for wrestling too. So it kind of stuck. It just stuck at the right time.
Didn't Hulk Hogan do that? They had a faction in TNA called Immortal, right?
Oh, see, I haven't watched TNA ever, so
Yeah. They did like a short-lived faction. It was called Immortal. It was like Hulk Hogan, Eric Bischoff. I think they had like I'm going so far back. This was during that shit show time period where they had like everybody on the roster, like
like
RVD
20.
was there, Jeff Hardy,
That's like 2010, right? I want to say that's
something like
2010.
that.
Yeah, because
Somewhere
I
in that
didn't
era.
watch it. I didn't watch it, but I remember hearing all of those stories and whatnot. Yeah, I mean,
Yeah, it
yeah.
was,
So that'd have been a tough sell though, because nobody would have wanted to be in the group except two people, and those two people are not prominent wrestlers now. So like they are not prominent at all. They still wrestling in North Carolina. You know what I'm saying? Still wrestling. They haven't made it out, and which is nothing wrong with that. But it's just the only two people I could get to be a part of that stable. It's a hard sell in the creative meeting when you're like, hey, I got this idea, and here's the two people that want to be down. They don't even get enough. They don't get in the indie. We all know in the indie world, your TV time is very limited anyway. So especially if you're on like on a local thing, like your TV time is real limited. And I was a mark for myself, man. I was a mark for myself back then. So I wanted to be on television. I was like, fuck that. Put me in the ring. I got in the ring with Rich Swann before an event, and I gave him a stunner, and instantly I was like, yo, I'm gonna become a wrestler. Like that's it. Like, and then I tried to go train, and I was like, fuck this, I'm good.
yo, dude. So I had a similar experience. I went to a Ring of Honor show. I was a part of the show back in around the 2009, 2010 era called the Wrestling Roundtable.
Yeah, I think I remember that.
Yeah, it was this dude, Eric Santamaria, who hates my guts now, and rightfully so. I was kind of a dick to him, but Eric Santamaria started this roundtable show. I saw the show, and then I saw him at a Ring of Honor event. He was actually working the gimmick table. He was like selling merchandise and shit. So I said what's up to him. Told him I was a fan of the show, told him where I'm from. And the show was actually about a half hour from where I live in New Jersey. That's where they filmed. So he actually invited me to the show. I don't know why on that first meeting he invited me to the show, but this opened the door. I appeared on the show a bunch of times. This opened the door to me working actually at Ring of Honor, just doing extra shit, So I get there, and at the time I'm 5'11", but at that time I was about 215. I was jacked. I was jacked. I was jacked up. I was lifting weights like a freaking animal, all juiced up and shit. So they asked me to be security for a storyline they were doing with Kevin Steen, where he lost like a loser leaves match, and he was invading the Hammerstein Ballroom. So like I'm backstage. There was like a thing we did outside when people were waiting online to get in. I'm backstage, and they told me that I'm sitting there with Owens, Jim Cornette, and just a group of people. There's like a ton of people around, and Kevin Owens points at me and he goes, "Do you know how to take a bump?" And I said, "No, sir." He's like, "Can you take a fake punch?" I said, "I think I can do that." And he goes, "All right, you're the first one in the ring after there was going to be this melee." So I'm like, oh shit. Because out of all, I wasn't a wrestler. I wasn't trained to be a wrestler, but out of all the extras, I was the only dude that looked like a wrestler.
That looked like a wrestler. Yep.
Yeah. So he handpicked me, and I'm like, oh shit, I got to be the first one in. So we go out. When he invades, we go out, right? It's a match between Jimmy Jacobs and El Generico. Jimmy Jacobs is outside the ring. Him and Owens are going at it. Owens gives him a power bomb on the apron, and then El Generico, Sami Zayn, flies over the top rope with a swanton bomb, right? And it's a melee of security. He lands right on top of me, bro. He lands right on top of me, knocks me fucking silly, dude. Knocks me silly. I'm like, whoa, I got to be the first one in the ring. So I look up, I'm down. I look up and Kevin Steen's in there and he's like, oh shit, I got the Hammerstein Ballroom here. And he looks at me and he goes, come on. And I'm like, oh fuck. So I try to get in the ring. I've never slid under the bottom rope in my life. So I try to slide under the bottom rope and I catch my ass on the bottom rope, right? So my ass gets caught on it, like my belt or something. And I'm like, oh shit. And I stumble and I look up and this dude, I'm supposed to take a fake punch, right? This dude comes roaring at me with a fucking foot to the face. And knocks the shit out of me, bro. Knocks the shit out of me, man. So anyway, melee happens. We pull him out of the building. But at that moment, I was fucking hooked. I was like, I got to do this. I got to try this. I need to learn more. And then I went to one day of training and I was like, fuck this. I can't do this right now.
Dude, I used to go over to Hot Spots all the time, man. So like we would finish up what we were doing that day and go over to Hot Spots. And I remember a couple of guys there. And with Cedric and all those other guys, I remember being there. And it's a guy named Matt. He follows me on Twitter. I've known him since I've been around the business. And he was training for like months prior to I got there. And I was like, yo, how do you maintain daily coming in back to back, like trying to get that? And I realized, I'm like, man, I like being a spectator. I like enjoying it. I like being a fan. I like talking about it. But like, I like seeing the creative side of it. But to actually get in and do it, because everybody's like, man, you look like a wrestler. Like you look like you could, I'm like 6'2", stocky, kind of stocky. So everybody's like, hey, you be a wrestler. And even after that, 2016, I was backstage at a Ring of Honor. I think it was Death Before Dishonor. I think it was Death Before Dishonor. And I know it was a Roderick Strong, Jay Lethal match that was like an hour. I think that was that one. And I'm backstage, and man, I forgot who it was, but I know it was might have been Maria. I think, or Mike Bennett was around at the time, and she like comes up, and I'm like on the side with the wrestlers, so I guess it doesn't make like why I'm like she's like you wrestled tonight, and I was like, huh, what? No. She's like, oh, okay. She's like, are you like trying to try out? I'm like, hell no. Like no. And so at that point, I was like, man, like I had to itch a little bit even then, kind of like I'm like, man, here we are years later. But that's like, nah. Like I can't take a fake punch. I can't take a fake. I learned that trying to train real quick. The fake punch shit, because if you miss, if you don't do it right, you hit me, my reflexes, reactions is way different. So I was like, yeah, this ain't, and the taking the bumps, I took one bump.
Yeah.
Never again.
So I work still with Grimm's Toy Show here in New Jersey. Have you heard of Grimm? You know Grimm, right? Yeah. So I work with them. I work with them I do their Facebook page and their TikTok and some other stuff. So I went there a couple summers ago to do some refereeing, right? And I'm refereeing a match with Grimm and this dude Onslaught. And it's like this crazy, they're hitting each other with light tubes, and they didn't go over any of this shit with me, bro. I had no idea what was happening. They're hitting each other with light tubes, going through tables. They didn't even tell me what the finish was, bro. They didn't even tell me the finish. And Grimm at the time, he's chugging vodka at the time. The video's on YouTube. He's chugging vodka during the match and shit. So he's wasted. Yeah. So I don't know what the finish is. I count to 3 with legs in the rope, right? And I didn't see the legs in the rope. So Grimm gets up. He's pissed. He goes, "You screwed me," and he kicks me in the gut, right? So I'm on TV. I'm on YouTube right now. So I'm playing along. Like I'm the referee. I know my role. This dude lifts me up into a razor's edge and razor's edges me right there in the ring. Right. So I'm going up and I'm like, oh shit, this is actually happening right now. I tuck my chin. I tried to anyway, and I still hit fucking hard. And I felt like shit the next day. One razor's edge. I felt like shit the next day. He apologized, but he took care of me. He didn't slam me too hard, but bump, bro, people think it's fake. That was the real deal.
Nah, man. I tell people all the time, seeing the injuries and how you have to time everything a certain way to avoid, like if you run the ropes, even that could be strenuous if you don't know how to run them right.
Oh hell yeah.
And so even with the bumps, like wrestling is an art form. I always say wrestling is an art form. And you don't have that respect for it until you actually up close, because as a fan, you're looking at like, oh, this is entertainment. It's entertainment. It's fake, but it's fun entertainment. And then you get close to it, and I'm like, man, nah, these are athletes. Like these are athletes, bro. Like they put their bodies on the line, and they do it, you know, especially in the indies, man. I was watching guys go for 45 minutes, 50 minutes, like an hour.
Oh yeah.
And, you know, and this is not like, and they weren't doing it in front of 20, 30,000 people. They're doing this shit in front of like 300, 400, 500. That's doing it for the love of the game.
Oh, hell
And
yeah.
so, you know, and I always likened it to like the artists, you know, like performers. Like when we would do our little tours and stuff back in like 2014, 2015, we would perform maybe like in front of like 150, 200 people, but we would treat it like it was 20,000 people there. And
yeah, like it was WrestleMania. Like it was the big
Yeah.
like it was the big deal because that's it. That's the priority
Yeah.
at the time is that show.
Yeah. Yeah. And so it gives you a great appreciation for the showmanship in wrestling, no matter who's there. If two people paid tickets, you're gonna go out and bust your ass to entertain those two people because they're fans. They care enough about your product to spend money to watch what you do. So and that's also when I learned too, though, that that wrestlers look at fans a lot differently than I thought they did. Right?
That's true.
I was like, when you see a lot of those crazy accounts, we've had this conversation too, you know, about some of these crazy accounts and how crazy people, you know, are like, and I know like some of these people follow, you know, some of the wrestlers follow the fans, but the fans feel like, oh, this is my friend. It's my friend because they follow me and and I just want to tell you how great you are. And then like the wrestlers, you talk to the wrestlers and they're like, man, these motherfuckers are crazy. Like,
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
they're obsessed with us. Like, but you know, I want them to be fans, so I'm gonna be nice to them. And I'm the guy that I felt like I pulled the curtain back a little bit on stuff, especially years ago, because I would have fans like, oh my God, tell this person, I think they're the greatest person ever. I think they're this and that. And I'm like, man, no motherfucker, they don't care. They don't care about everything you're saying, you know, like, and so even like after shows, we would go to like the art, like Applebee's, TGI Fridays, fans would show up and it's like the wrestlers are kind of like, dude, we just want to have a drink with the, you know, with the crew. Cause it's like a family environment to us because we all ride up and down the road with each other and we know each other and the fans are just there. And then like fans, you know, take on a whole life of their own, man. They become marks for themselves in the sense of, you know, they create stan accounts and then like, oh, I'm a, you know, like I'm such a big fan. And it's like the wrestlers look at it like, I want you to support me, but sometimes it goes far. Like we even seen, what was it with the Sonya Deville situation with that crazy dude? Like, man, like people don't know how to turn off their fandom, and that becomes another issue. And I liken that to anything in any arena. Like people don't know how to not be like super fans. Fans, like these are regular people at the end of the day. They go home to their families the same way you do. And it's like, if you appreciate what they do, give them appreciation, give them respect, but don't kiss their ass. Don't do too much or overdo it because they're not going to look at you the same way you think because they're looking at you like, okay, appreciate it. All right, move on.
It's true. They start to get weirded out after a while because like I've had that experience too with some wrestlers who like from NXT or whatever, who I say what's up to and talk when I had the website and stuff and the podcast. And then like, before you know it, and I know they're blowing up, like their popularity is going through the roof, but they start ghosting you when you're having conversations before and they start ghosting you. But I understand that because I'm not a fucking mark, but I want to continue on this point for a second. I've noticed, I've been involved in wrestling Twitter now, I'd say consistently for 7-8 years. Right. And I've noticed a deterioration of the quality of fan. I've noticed way more fans. It's definitely more of an echo chamber, a follow the leader type of scenario than it used to be. You know, 5-10 years ago on Twitter, you didn't have to worry about talking anything about pro wrestling or giving any kind of opinion. Of course, there's exceptions to the rule, but many opinions, many talking points you could say openly, and the wrestling community won't do anything except engage in some debate and discussion. Now they try to cancel you. So as we see, wrestling has always moved with the rest of the world and what's going on. Always, no question about it. It's pop culture. It moves with it. That's what it banks off of. So how did wrestling, in your opinion, how did wrestling become this echo chamber that has followed the Twitter cancel culture and this situation that we're in, that you probably agree with, is really hurting our right to free speech?
You know, I remember seeing it coming. And I always say it when WWE went PG, I was like, this is a bad idea. Like, I knew it was a good idea for their business sake because the game had changed, right? You know, no longer could we do the stuff that you could do in the Attitude Era because people were somehow offended by it or hurt by it. But I remember thinking to myself, most of the people I talk to, though, if I ask them what was their favorite era in wrestling, most of them going to say the Attitude Era. So it's almost like those people who don't watch anymore, like those people who people consider casual fans that made up the 8-9 million people that watch weekly, they liked shit like that. They like to be able to see like free expression. And I think the world, I've always felt like the world was there was a plan to make this stuff happen in the world over. And so everybody else with big investments, you have to follow suit. You have to follow suit. And so for wrestling, it's weird though, because wrestling, you know, you cutting promos, being sensitive to something like that, like it takes the quality down. So like it's funny, they had a tweet today about you know, how did WWE, WWF get away with so much stuff, and they show like Muhammad Hassan and like Vince and stuff with Stephanie, and I was like, man, it's entertainment, you know what I mean? Like I didn't necessarily want to see an incest angle with Vince and Stephanie, but I didn't want to see.
Do you watch movies? I always say, do you watch movies? Have you turned on the television? Do you watch HBO? It's no different.
It's not like we see like what was it? Game of Thrones is like one of the biggest shows that's ever existed, and some of the stuff they had in there was sick. But when you watch it, it's like, you know, it's a show. You know, it's an act. You know, it's that. Guess what? Wrestling is also the same way. Exactly. And so I think people start to. I said this when I got into it with most of wrestling Twitter anyway. I think people have this fake moral compass when it comes to things that they don't need to, because somebody was like, oh, how can you say this? How can you say that? But the moment you see somebody you don't like or somebody in wrestling you dislike, you say the most disrespectful, vile shit to them too. So it's like, what makes you any different than them? It's just that, oh, if you don't like Hulk Hogan, which I don't have much positive to say about Hulk Hogan myself, but I look at like, I was using him as an example. It's like, if you don't like Hulk Hogan because he said quote unquote racist things, and that's something you don't like, I can respect that. But then you'll come back at the same time and take up for somebody else who also said racist things, but you just like them more. It's like, well, give them time to grow. Give them time to, you know, they grew. They're not the same anymore. Why can't you apply that same logic for other people? It's because you just don't like that person. And that's where, to me, that's what cancel culture is in general. It's, if I like you, we're going to ride with you. If I don't like you and I found out you did something that is quote unquote bad, we're going to come after you. And in wrestling, seeing that in wrestling is weird, because I said it before, most of those wrestlers are terrible people. like these are terrible people. Like I rode I was up and down the road with some of these people. Like the shit that people think is terrible, these people are doing it, and it's okay, because guess what? Your neighbor probably does this shit. The person, like, it's like, if wrestlers get called out for cheating on their wives now. I've seen some shit like that. Like, I seen the Matt Riddle situation. And then like, I can't believe he did this. I'm like, right, do you know? Like, if you knew some of the shit that I do, like, that's not at all foreign at all. And then the guy, like I said, your neighbor could be doing the same thing. So it, you know what I mean? Like you like, people have this fake moral compass now because they feel they're empowered by this culture. Because I said Twitter is the revenge of the nerds for a lot of people too. And a lot of people, I said that years ago, and people were like, what do you mean? And I'm like, what happens is, once you give people a platform that has hundreds of millions of people on it that they think they can talk to and say whatever with impunity and not have any repercussions, now these people who have deep-seated hurt and deep-seated other shit, they start to be like, oh, I'm fighting back against the bullies that took my lunch money and put me in the lockers and shit like that. And now that's what it becomes. It becomes like, it turns into cancel culture. But in reality, it doesn't mean anything. Because
exactly right. Exactly right.
Because if you tell somebody, oh, I'm getting you canceled, everybody that they've mostly tried to cancel has pretty much went on to still do what the fuck they do anyway. Like, you don't stop anybody, you know, like, and I use the Hulk Hogan example because of that. Like, you're like, oh, you know, Hulk Hogan, we canceled Hulk Hogan. I'm like, I'm pretty sure I saw the brother on Raw just a couple weeks ago. Like, I'm pretty sure. And so it's like, you can't, like, if you don't like what somebody does, I understand that. If you felt disrespected by somebody saying racist stuff, I understand that. But at the end of the day, everybody's going to continue living their lives no matter what. And people look at it like they're holding people accountable, but you're also playing with people's lives too when you're trying to get them canceled, like trying to get people's jobs taken away and stuff like that. Like, I'm sure other people have said fucked up shit in the world too. You want somebody to come take your job because of some shit you
Yeah,
said? No.
definitely. Yeah, of
And
course not.
and like I said before, if somebody say something fucked up, see me in person, say that in my face. And half the
Yeah.
people are not going to do that. And that's wrestling in general. Like, most people aren't built like that. And I, like, even myself now, I'm like, man, I'm a father. I you know what I'm saying? Like, I got shit going on, so I'm not even looking for trouble. But it's like, well, I won't say I'm not looking for trouble, but I'm not actively going out. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Right. Yeah, I got you.
like I'm not poking for it. Like, years ago, I was like, when I was in it, like, if people who know me, that's why I have the reputation I have. It's because they're like, oh, True's crazy. And because I wanted issues, not just in wrestling and everything else I had going on. I wanted that, but now I don't. And it's like, now I'm kind of chilling, and I step back and I'm like, man, like, these people don't have lives. Like, you don't have lives, because if you had a life, you wouldn't care about what celebrities or famous people are doing, because who does that affect? None of that affects us in our day to day. Like, if somebody said, oh, this celebrity said this or this celebrity did that, that doesn't affect me. That doesn't affect me. That doesn't change anything about my life. And I realize that some people don't grasp that, because some people live vicariously through famous people and or people on television. And that's where cancel culture comes from. You live vicariously through these people. The moment they make a mistake, the moment they mess up, you feel betrayed. And because you feel betrayed, you want to take away something, because they took away that feeling of living vicariously through them. You want to take away something from them. And I don't get it. I've never got that, because I could give two shits. Like,
Yeah.
I don't care, man. Like, I'll discuss a lot of stuff online, because it's an open platform, it's a forum, to discuss. But I don't really care. Like, when I log off of these platforms, I don't care.
Mm-hmm.
And, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I got a life to get to, you know what I'm saying? I got a child to raise, I got business to take care of, and I have, like family to look out for. I got people in my circle that I'm around, and none of this matters. And I feel like if people would take that, and this is especially for wrestling Twitter, like, for wrestling for them, because it's like, when I see the stuff that they do and their clicks and shit, I'm like, bro, go outside, experience life, like, have a life outside of this. You know what I mean? Like, this is just entertainment. Like, Twitter is entertainment, because it's not going to be a place for real information. That's probably not what it's going to be, especially nowadays, because censorship is at an all-time high anyway. So if you can't put out real information on these platforms, use it as entertainment. And none of these people are going to put information out anyway, real information anyway. Fuck wrestling Twitter. What is somebody that's like if you're a Charlotte Flair stan and you got a whole bunch of Charlotte Flair pictures up, like, what information are you putting out that we need that's important anyway? Nothing. So, you know what I mean? Like, and these are kids too. Most of them are kids too. That's another thing. That's a bad thing we're teaching children too, and teenagers and people growing up. We're not teaching people that it's okay to make mistakes in life. It's okay to fuck up sometimes. Like, like, mistakes are natural. Trial by error is how we grow. And if you're trying to cancel people or try to, like, take everything from them, they have to. You got to learn from your mistakes on your own. You don't dictate somebody else's fate, because who are you? That's like I said, it gives people power. It gives people power that they shouldn't have, because it's over somebody else's life. Nobody else has power over somebody else's life.
You're exactly right, and that's what Twitter says they're trying to do. They say that when they suspend you or shut off your account for an extended period of time, they're trying to make you behave. They're trying to say, hey, here's a slap on the wrist. You behave. Don't type that. Don't say that. Over the Christmas vacation holiday, I got banned off of Twitter on, I think it was the 23rd. Yeah, the 23rd of December, for a week, for one whole week, right? And that's, to me, a little steep. I've been banned for 12 hours multiple times. So this was and every time they banned me before that for 12 hours, they told me why they did it. They told me what the tweet was so I can understand. This time, they didn't tell me. I appealed twice. I emailed them twice. They didn't tell me what the tweet was. They didn't delete any of my tweets that I know of. They're all still up there. They didn't tell me at all. And that, to me, is weird, because Why? What did I do? What got
Yep.
reported? Was I talking about the Great Cornholio virus too much? Was I asking questions about where this nurse went that got injected with it on TV and has mysteriously
passed out, right?
disappeared?
The
Yeah,
one
she
that
passed
passed
out.
out. Yeah, I
She
remember that.
passed out and she's gone. She's gone, bro. Her
Yep.
Instagram is gone. Her Facebook is gone. She's got. Where did she go? Where did she go?
I'll-
Go ahead. Sorry.
Nah, not to get too much into that, but I remember last January when this was going on, when it first started, I would see little videos of like reporters back in China who were disappearing for saying, this is not what you think it is. This is not what you think it is. And it would just disappear and completely wiped off. And then I realized, I'm like, oh, we're here now.
Uh-oh.
We're here. I was like, we're here. I had this conversation with somebody in my circle. I'm like, oh, here we go. Like when you start, I'm like, it's going to get to the point where everything you know is going to be wiped out. And I say by everything you know, like everything we've been taught over the years, most of it's a lie anyway, right? Most of it's a lie.
Yeah. 100%. Yep.
But when you start to realize how certain things work and you're starting to look and see, it's like, bro, in real time watching this and seeing people that are not on the same side or don't understand the same things, it makes you just look like the world is really full of idiots. And everybody's trying to be the smartest idiot in the room. And that's the problem. Because when you see stuff like that, like with the nurse, like if you were to post a video about stuff like that, you'd have post even something challenging the thought process or the groupthink today, you're going to get suspended. They're going to tell you it's misinformation because that's how they're doing it now. You're putting misinformation out. So we're deleting this. We're deleting your account. You can't spread misinformation. I saw it on Facebook. I saw it on Facebook, which is weird because I was like, Facebook, man, that's just a place where like a lot of family photos, like no one really, like I don't get to see it. Like my Facebook is pretty tame, like mostly people I went to school with, most people I know. And so it's tame, but then somebody shares something and their account disappeared. And then they text me and they're like, bro, I just shared something about the vaccine and they took me away. And I'm like, well, what did you share? And he sent me the link. And I was like, oh, that's why. Like already, I was like, you know why they did that. And he's like,
Yep.
I know. He's like, but they can do that. I'm like, that's the rules. That's the rules that they make on these platforms. Everything has been set up that you don't read the fine print on these things. So you don't realize the amount of control that they have, whether it's over your data, your information, everything. Everything is controlled. And no one seems to understand that until it slaps you in the face. And then people are like, what? I can't believe this happened. It's like, where you been at? Where have you been? Like, this is nothing new. And I've been talking this shit for God, man, like since we started following each other years ago. Like I've been talking about this. I've talked about it in my music, everything. Like I didn't necessarily think it was going to be a pandemic that led to a lot of stuff that we're seeing, but I knew there had to be some way that they were going to bring about some of the stuff we're seeing. And watching it in real time is like it's crazy.
It's the Great Reset. It's the Great Reset. They admit to it. They admit it's a Great Reset. It's not everyone says I'm spouting conspiracy theories and bullshit when I talk about the Great Reset. No, it's out there. Go look up the information. It's in Time Magazine. It's on the World Economic Forum. It's on the Bloomberg Association. You got Biden running around saying build back better. You got Justin Trudeau, build back better. Prince Charles, build back better. What do you think build back better means? It's the Great Reset. It's something that was supposed to happen in 2030, but they moved it forward due to this pandemic. Who knows how the pandemic started? I have my theories. I think a lot of it started with Kobe Bryant's death. Believe it or not, I go deep. I think when Kobe Bryant died, I woke up that next morning and I said, something ain't right. Something's wrong. This doesn't make any sense that Kobe Bryant died in such a weird, mysterious way. And that it's the same night as the Grammy Awards. And it's the same night the Grammy Awards just happened to be at Staples Center. And the night before he's in Philly where he was born. And I know I'm pivoting into a little rant here, but he passes off the scoring leader. I think he was like 3 and LeBron passed him. So he passed it off to LeBron on that night, which was a changing of the guard and who's the second greatest basketball player of all time, whatever you want to say. It's just was, to me, it was shady. I thought it was shady immediately. And then the coronavirus came right after it. And it almost seemed like it was some kind of I don't know, initiation process, some kind of bringing in like a sacrifice to bring in this new world, to bring in this great reset almost. I might be sounding crazy as shit, but that is
No,
what went through my head at the time.
no, I wouldn't say you sound crazy because I remember I was in a Chinese restaurant. It's funny enough, thinking about it now, I was a Chinese restaurant, and I was eating, and the mother of my child, I texted her, and I was like, "Yo, you seeing this?" And she's like, "What?" I'm like, "About Kobe." She's like, "Yeah," and I was like, "Ain't that kind of weird?" So we kind of both had that same like like
Mhm.
that doesn't make sense. And I guess freak accidents do happen, but
Sure, of course.
how often do they really happen? Because it's like I feel like a lot of celebrities take the proper precautions with these things. So when I do see something happen with a celebrity, especially a huge celebrity that's tied into a lot, and then you start seeing other fallouts, it's like I don't know, man. Like
Yeah,
it's a little
yeah,
sketchy. Not like I said, I can't draw the parallel between what happened and I can't draw the parallel, but I do understand why there'd be skepticism because certain things just if something doesn't make sense, it's usually for a reason.
yeah, and then you have Kobe in that cartoon dying in a helicopter crash. You got that commercial with Kanye West where Kobe throws the basketball that's a bomb into a helicopter with Kanye West in it, and the helicopter explodes. You got on Kobe's one of Kobe's last games, I think it was at Staples Center, might have been his last game. They were giving out this toy where he had a helicopter propellers on his head. It
Yeah,
just all that is that coincidence? Stop telling me that's coincidence. Doesn't make any sense to me, and I don't buy it. But look, dude, I want to wrap this up because I only wanted to take about 30, 40 minutes of your time tonight.
gotcha.
But I want to do this again. I want to do more of this. I want to talk more
Sure.
about your rap career, about other things that brought you up in rap. I'm subscribed to you on Spotify. I listen to your music a lot. I was actually listening to it before we went live here. So
Appreciate it.
I appreciate what you do. But hey, pimp out your stuff, man. Plug your shit. Where can people find you, man?
Hey man, I am on like I said, Spotify, Apple Music. You can search True God and I pop up. There's like some other like jobber dude that also he's the same name, but his music is garbage. So don't listen to him. Listen to me. Um and right now I'm working on my book, which got pushed back this summer because I lost my mother this summer. So
Yeah, I'm sorry to hear that, man. Hey, I
yeah,
heard that it was. I'm very sorry about that, man.
yeah. So, it's kind of rough. So I got a book coming out hopefully in the summertime of this year and working on some scripts. We're gonna be filming sometime also in the fall. So I got a lot coming up. It's just not everything is out yet. Got things pushed back, of course, by my loss. So but yeah, go Spotify, Apple Music, check out True God, go to definearevolution.com. We got articles. We just opened the site back up. So yeah. So that's my main things right now. We did have the sports stuff on Eyes on the Ring, but we're kind of scaling back on it right now because sports is in a weird place and yeah, it's such a weird thing with sports right now. It's like I don't even really feel like
It's
discussing.
politics. It's
Yeah,
politics. It's been absorbed by the political beast in this country. It's been absorbed by the same institution that has absorbed the social media platforms, that has absorbed basically any other independent think area arena in America has been absorbed by this political beast.
that's true. Everything has politics involved in it now, and it takes a lot of love out of out of stuff for me because not everything has to be political, man. Like some things can just be what they're meant to be, and when you add every single like everything is political. And like I said, as far as like the NBA, NFL saying, we want to support, like a cause, and everybody knows I'm fully in support of my people, my black people. I'm not necessarily a big supporter of the Black Lives Matter organization because I
Mhm.
also know what goes on behind behind with a lot of that, and I think a lot of people are moving away from it anyway. But I'm a big supporter of standing up for our people, but I I think millionaire athletes doing it and being the face of it is kind of bullshit. So I feel like that makes it bullshit for me because uh, their circumstances ain't the same as the guy that lives in my neighborhood, and it's a big difference perspective. So I feel like it gets sidetracked. Like I said, you can salute and represent whatever you want to as an athlete, but when you start kind of getting into we're not going to the White House because of this, and we're not doing like that. I felt like at that point I was like, man, like who cares anyway?
Yeah.
Like
What are we doing?
like who cares? Like who? Like my thing is, if you're going, you going. If you're not, you're not. Like
Mhm.
to me, I've never been that person that cared that much about the government to where it's like I want to meet the president. Da 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 da. I never really wanted to. I never have. Like kids around my neighborhood was like, man, I want to meet the president. I'm like, I didn't want to meet Bill fucking Clinton. Like I didn't want to meet George Bush. Like I thought they were funny. Like I think presidents are hilarious. I just find politicians to be comedy. Like these are comedic people. I thought Trump was fucking hilarious for all the wrong reasons, but like I thought it was funny. Like these are entertainers to me. Politicians are entertainers to me because they sell you lies, sell you bullshit half the time anyway. And so when they seep into other arenas, it bothers me because I'm like, man, I just want to watch. You know what I mean? Like, I just want to watch Kevin Durant hoop for like 48 minutes. Like, I just want to watch, Steph Curry, LeBron James go out there and play their games. I don't care about all this other stuff in that arena because they don't have the same process as the people really going out there. Like I said, I mentioned this before we wrap it up. I mentioned like when Ferguson and all those riots and stuff were going on, I had people down there and stuff, and Baltimore riots here when Freddie Gray situation. Like I was down there in those riots and some of those protests, and like I said, I saw close up that the way the media portrays stuff is not what it really is too. And that's when I realized I'm like, man, this shit is all a game. This is all a game. It's all a game. And so but I had to see it with my own eyes. Like it, but you have to see it with your own eyes. Seeing everything that happened and how like the people, the real activists, especially in the Ferguson situation, like a lot of those real activists are God rest their soul, they're not here anymore because they said too much. They did too much. So that's why now for me it's like, okay, like I get it. So I wish politics and all that shit would kind of take a back seat, but everything is political now. Like everybody's watching what goes on with the politics and stuff like that. So it like when people are on Twitter and shit's trending and I'm like, why? Like, why do we care?
It's mainstream. It's mainstream. It's been sensationalized. It's the same as like anything that we grew up with that was super mainstream that everybody watched. Now everybody's watching this because and I think that feeds the beast because now they need to continually have another chapter to the story. They have to keep the pedal on the metal because now the politicians want to be celebrities and influencers outside of their job as a politician. You look at this AOC cat, who I think she's hot as shit. I think she's really hot. But other than that, I can't stand listening to her for over 5 minutes, or else I just want to jam a knife into my ear.
I'll agree with you. I think she's attractive. I feel like, but I've been in New York so much over the years. I feel like I could walk to the Bronx. I can go down to Brooklyn, Queens, and find a better Latina than her. So that's why, like, you know what I mean. So, but I hate what I hate the grandstand that she does, man. I hate it, and because I dated a girl 2 years ago that almost is exactly like her, and outside of sex, she was annoying as fuck, and it was like, but it felt phony. It felt phony because it's like you have so much, but like you basically in bed with the same people you act like you against. Really, you really like these people. Like you got to play a role in politics. Everybody plays a role in politics, and she's very loud, outspoken. She's the current face. Right, she's the current face of like being progressive and stuff like that. But if people understood what being quote unquote progressive really meant, none of these people really are the faces for it because everything is in a box. Everything is a box, and she, I say, but hey, she look all right. I saw her. She had her hair down one day, had a little skirt dress on. I was like, okay, I see it.
I'm down. They're gonna push her to. They're gonna push her to the moon, bro. Circle back to wrestling. They're gonna push her to the moon.
Politics is wrestling.
It is. It really is. Dude, it really is. That's why Trump worked out so well.
Yeah, like he had such the personality to grab the audience. And I always say like you couldn't follow up Obama with anybody less charismatic than him. And I think Obama and Trump represent two separate sides of charisma because I think Trump's unintentionally funny. I don't think he knows he's funny. Like I don't really think he knows.
Sometimes he does. Sometimes
he does. But it's like one of those moments where he was like talking to the kid and he And he's like, you giving it a try? So he said something to the kid, and I was in tears laughing because it's like the kid's 8. He don't know what the fuck you talking about. But he's talking to like the kids like 25. And so like when you see stuff like that, and like I said, when Obama came along, I remember like everybody in my neighborhood, my family was kind of like, oh yeah, Obama. And I was like, I get the sell because it started, and not to get too deep into it, but like Obama started at the Democratic National Convention in 2004. That was the sell. You saw the sell, you see the sell, and then you watch the push, and you watch them rise up. And it's like before they give you that title, they're gonna push you for the new face. And I remember my cousin made us watch the 2004 Democratic National Convention, and I saw Obama, and I was like, and I was young then. I was like, that's the next guy.
Yeah,
and he's
like, I thought so too, man. I saw his face on a book, and then I said, okay, who's this dude? And I looked at it. It was in Target. I'll never forget it, man. I saw his face on a book. I said, Obama, what is this? And then sure enough, that same exact day, I saw him on TV talking about something like major at the time. I can't remember exactly what he was talking about. And I said, holy shit, this dude's going to be president.
Yeah, it's just a game, right? It's just a game.
Yeah.
Like they put people there. Like I remember when they said Trump was running, I was like, Trump's ran before. Like he's attempted to run before, he just hasn't succeeded. Yeah. And then when he finally made it through the other guy, I was like, oh, it's his time now. Like it's his time. And it's crazy because with Biden, I was like, why Biden of all people? Like, what are you like? Why? Bad. I was like, is this the only person? But then I thought about it, and I said, if people are saying Trump is so bad, and they had so many years of Trump that they dislike, a lot of people were clamoring for Obama back, and the only thing you can do.
Shit, I think I just lost True. I think I'm still here, but I think True just got cut off.
Oh, we
did?
just
lost you. I lost you for a second. Yeah, you're coming. Oh, you're back. You're back. All right, you're back.
Okay, yeah. No, but I was just saying, like, that's funny. It's funny I got cut off at this point.
Right? Isn't that weird? Yo, YouTube, what are you doing? I have less than 600 subscribers. YouTube, cut me a break, bro. Come on.
That's funny, right? That's funny. But no, I was just saying, like, I saw so many people, especially like Democrats, that were like, oh man, even some conservatives saying, oh, sick of Trump, like things were quote unquote better when Obama was in. And when you see Biden, he's supposed to be like a remnant of what was left over from Obama, that's his vice president. So I was like, man, Obama he set the precedent for what people want and people look to. Even if you can't look into his record and look into some things that really happened, most people are not going to do that. People see the face, people see that you're a Democrat, and they automatically think it's just better than the opposite side. And then, Biden, he's no better. Nope. He's not really any better. You know what I'm saying? Like, and it's the same with all of them, man. Like, there's no real difference in these people because you all in the same gang anyway. It's like you guys all stand next to each other and vote on these bills. You have these little televised spats, these promos, like it's all these promos. You put Nancy Pelosi out there, you put Mitch McConnell out there, and they all say the same shit back and forth. It's promos. You're selling the fight. You're selling the next election. It's like when Rock and Cena started to sell their match a whole year in advance. Politics start selling the next election years in advance. They start grooming people. That's how you can, like, the governor in Maryland. I remember when what was it Cuomo, Andrew Cuomo in New York, when they tried to, they're like, man, the governor of Maryland, Larry Hogan, he did so well handling the pandemic, and then Cuomo did such a good job. That's how you supposed to do. I started seeing people, and I'm like, oh wow, really? They're like, this is it. Gave him an award or some shit, like an Emmy. Didn't they give him an Emmy or something like that? Like,
they gave him an Emmy for they gave him an Emmy for his fucking speeches, dude. They gave him an Emmy because he was entertaining on the mic, dude. That's why they gave him an Emmy.
And it's the Emmys for television. Like, why do you need it doesn't make any sense. It's all about politics seeping into everything. It's seeping into everything. Like, if I want to watch TV, if I want to watch something on the Stars app or HBO, like, that's what I watch. I don't need, and that's who should get the Emmys, the people who create the actual shows. Like, as somebody who's writing scripts right now, I know how difficult it is to put together a show and make it be entertaining to win these awards. So knowing that and seeing these things go, like awards like that, go to somebody who's a fucking governor or whatever, and who didn't really say much in his speeches anyway, like, this is like everything doesn't need to be politicized. Everything doesn't need to, because like it doesn't matter. Like that doesn't, like, come on, man. Like, so I see the play. I saw from jump, and I was watching. I forgot, it's another governor that I saw, and I'm like, oh, that's gonna be the Democratic guy. So it's like, like that's the
Gavin
Democratic.
Newsom in
Yeah,
California.
yeah. So I
Totally.
was
Like
like,
he's got the look, he's got the mannerisms, he's got the charisma. But dude, they are trying to oust him out of being the governor of New York. They have a petition. They're trying to have one of those elections, like on the
yeah,
spot elections, to get rid of him, because it's insane what they're doing out there. California's falling apart. He
no,
botched the wildfires, all that stuff.
California is going through it, man. I got some friends out there, and I'm talking to them, and you can't, because we don't live there, you can't see it. But to people living in it and experiencing some of it, it's crazy out there. And like, just when I start seeing what they were doing in LA County, and some of the, like, restrictions and stuff, I'm like, man, like I've said before, man, restrictions ain't stopped me from living my life. You know what I'm saying? Like I gotta, my life doesn't stop. So and I always said, if the government really wanted you to stay home, they would have taken care of you to really do that anyway. They don't really want you to stay home. I don't think they really want people to stay home anyway. I've never felt that way. My belief is that was never the case. They wanted you to have these restrictions, and they wanted to see how you would adhere to restrictions.
Yeah, how
Staying
you would
home
comply. How you would comply.
yeah,
Who would be the bad
yeah,
actors?
yeah. Like, yeah. And so it never felt like it was like, we really want you to stay home, because most people weren't going to do that shit anyway.
Yeah.
That's just it. Because, like, I mean, I'm not going out, in the clubs or nothing right now, but that's just because I don't have a need to. But I mean, like, I'm in Atlanta half the time when I'm not in Maryland, and those clubs are wide open. Nobody's listening down there. Like, nobody cares. And a lot of people are like, oh, that's crazy. I'm like, it is a little crazy. It is a little crazy, because I don't think clubbing is that important. Like, I don't think clubbing
No, of course
is
not.
not that
No.
important.
Hell
Like,
no.
that's idiocy. Like, I think that's idiocy. Like like the severity of the virus itself is whatever. But even if let's say this was, like, even with the common cold and the flu, I don't want to be out around people like that anyway. Like, even if I had the flu, I was sick, I wouldn't go out. Like, I wouldn't be going out either. So to see people who've actively have COVID and have had it and still go out and do that, that is kind of crazy. That
It
part
is.
is crazy to me. Like, because it's like, it's to me, this showed the best and the worst of everyone in some way, shape, or form. Whether it's the worst of the government, whether it's the worst of, like, how censorship's taking place, whether it's the worst of people who just can't sit still or just keep their activity simple. Like, people are like, somebody told me, like, man, if I don't go out and party, I'm like, I can't make it through the week. What?
That's
Like,
crazy. That's crazy town, bro. That doesn't
like,
even make any sense. That doesn't even make any sense, because partying is an activity that you do after you're done with what you're supposed to be doing in life. You party when your job and your work and your responsibilities are finished for the day or the week or the night or the month or whenever, how often you party. You don't party. That can't be a prerequisite in your life. That's like a reward, if anything.
but I realized, like, Florida, like Atlanta, like, these are places in Texas, like, those are places where, like, these are party life is the crux of their economy and their business too.
Mm.
So that's why
True.
those places haven't shut down completely. So, and that's why, like, I was in Atlanta for New Year's Eve, and I was doing the family thing. I do the family thing in Atlanta, but I was, I got text from somebody, and this girl, she's like, "Oh, 50 Cent's throwing a New Year's Eve party," and I'm like, okay. Like, she's like, "You don't want to come out?" I'm like, "No." I
Yeah, who
won't come out.
cares?
And she's like, "It's New Year's Eve though," and I'm like, so? And like, after I realized, like, people, we get so indoctrinated by the things that we do that we kind of, it becomes force of habit. So when you're looking at, partying, you look at it like, I've lived my life this way, and I got to keep partying because I don't know how to exist without this or without that. But, like, I think it's just too much, man. It's too much.
Yeah.
But I will say, I do think, some people, I know somebody who's like, man, I haven't seen my family since March, and I was like, you bugging the fuck out. Like,
Yeah, go see your family. What are you waiting for? Go see your family.
like, because, like, think about it. Like, even if people are dying off of this, would you want to be like, damn, I can't get to see my family? Like, you know, You got to keep yourself safe, but be around your family, be around people. Like, we do need human interaction, which is another thing about this whole pandemic that bothers me a little bit, because it's like people are trying to limit human interaction, which I get. And it's like from a stranger perspective and being reckless. But you if you have a circle, still be around those people. Create a bubble for yourself if you have to keep sanity, because being by yourself all the time drives people crazy, which is a part of people staying home too. If you drive yourself crazy, your mental health is not good, then everything else just kind of goes to hell. And what world, what country doesn't love that? Because if something goes to hell, if your health goes to hell, your mental health goes to hell, who's going to profit off of your issues? Probably
Government.
Pretty much. Whether it's big tech, big pharma, all these people are going to profit off of what you're going through. That's just the way it goes, and right now, with big tech and how social media, like these platforms we're on right now, they have so much power over so much right now, and people don't get it. People don't actually get this, but it's like social media has become the crux of almost everything. If you watch television, hashtags are on television. They'll tell you if you're watching this show, hashtags at the bottom of a television show.
Mm-hmm.
That's unprecedented.
It scared the shit out of me. You know who Gary Vee is, right? Obviously.
Yeah.
You know Gary Vee? Yeah. So about 4 or 5 years ago, maybe I heard a keynote from Gary Vee. That guy changed my life in a lot of ways for the positive, but he said something in the keynote that scared the shit out of me at the time, because I never thought of it this way. He said that Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram and Snapchat are ABC, CBS, NBC, and Fox. He said those are networks. And as soon as he said that, what went through my head is, holy shit, the networks are all FCC regulated, and they can't say what they want, and they're heavily influenced by the, whatever political party is associated with them. And at that time, it scared the shit out of me, but it didn't really register how deep it could possibly go, because I was still believing that we're in a free speech society and all these platforms are for free speech.
Yep.
Yeah. Yo, dude, we could talk about this. We could talk about this for hours, but I want to save some. I want to have you back. I want to talk to you again after Inauguration Day, because I have a feeling we'll have a whole new set of topics to talk about, because I think it's going to go down.
Yeah, I don't know what's gonna happen Inauguration Day. I'm a little too close. I'm a little too close to all that shit too. So
yeah.
I'm a little too close. I got a girl in DC I go see, so I got to make sure I see her before all that.
Yeah, we got to be careful. Yeah. We got to be vigilant, and we got to, just stay honest and stay informed.
Yeah, I tell everybody stay safe, and I mean that in several different ways. Stay safe in several different ways, because it's definitely a target. It's definitely a target on a lot of people's backs in this world that don't even know it. I've said that. If you say what you mean and you are genuine, you are honest, you got a target on your back. It might be from one side, might be from one side, might be from the other side, maybe from both sides. You just really don't know who's watching what you do, which is why, like I said, I stay low profile for a reason. So I got too much going on. I got too much going on, man. So I stay low profile, but the truth is out there. The truth tellers always catch the most flack. So
I'm happy. I'm happy we did this, bro. I'm happy we did this. I'm happy we actually talked face to face, even though it wasn't in person. Missed you at WrestleMania last year. I was a mess that weekend, so that's on me. But thanks for doing this, bro. And I'm sure we'll have many more of these conversations in the future, because I ain't stopping. I'm going to keep this thing going until I get monetized.
Oh, hey, for sure, man. Hey, good luck with getting monetized. It is.
Thanks, bro. I'm gonna try.
It's a hustle. Get that money. Get your money, man.
Thanks, brother. I will talk to you soon. I'll talk to you on Twitter, and we will. I will put links to all your stuff in the bottom of the description of this video, so anybody who listens to this and wants to go download your music can get it.
All right, bet, man. Appreciate it.
All right, thanks, brother. I'll talk to you later.
No problem.
Right, peace. All right, that was True God Immortal. Thanks so much. If you're still watching, I see I got about 3 people in here. This is only the beginning of what we're doing here with this channel, PWP Nation. So if you can, please make sure you hit that subscribe, like, and share button. And we're just getting started. I'm just getting started. True is one of my few people that I actually trust on social media. There aren't too many people out there that I trust, but that's one of the guys that I do. I've known him for a long time. We've had our spats. We've had him in public. We've had him in private. We've gone at it before, taking sides. Yeah, he's a good dude. He's a legitimate good guy, and I appreciate him joining me here on this show and the beginning of what is hopefully going to be a great run here on my channel. So please do what you can to support. I appreciate that, and I'll talk to you guys soon. I might be back later, Ashley, with Joe Cronin. I'm not sure if he's good for tonight or not. Joe Cronin is going to jump on here with me for 15-20 minutes. I've been in his channel a few times, so hopefully we can get that done. All right, guys, I will talk to you later. Peace.